Hey, we got multiple Warriors updates that will have a huge impact on the rest of the Warriors season as Jonathan Kuminga's injury status has completely changed for the big game tonight against the Grizzlies. Also, there is a wild rumor going around about Steve Kerr's coaching staff. We're going to get into that as well. But first, I need you to hit subscribe right now. We are Warriors Digest, a growing community of over 10,000 Warriors fans. If you like daily Warriors content, news, updates, commentary, analysis, get in here, hit subscribe right now because it totally helps the channel. And hi, by the way, I'm Arthur Ballesteros. So let's get into this major update today. We just got the word from Anthony Slater. The tweet just came out. Jonathan Kuminga has been downgraded to out tonight in Memphis with a right pelvic contusion. Now, yesterday, he hit us with this tweet here that had shown that he was questionable. Now, this came out yesterday, so he said, Jonathan Kuminga is questionable tomorrow at Memphis. The Warriors are now listing it as a right pelvic contusion, not an ankle issue. He landed hard last night. Gary Payton II is out. Everyone else available for the Warriors in a high-stakes game in Memphis. So this all took a really strange turn here in just the past 24 hours, because if you remember in the game against San Antonio, Jonathan Kuminga took that hard fall. Actually, let's take a look at this here. Let me switch this a little bit here so we can take a look at this injury. So look at the video here. He goes up, takes a hard fall right on his butt there, tailbone. The weird thing about this injury was that they listed it as an ankle injury during the game. Now, obviously, that is a huge problem with Kuminga because he missed 31 games earlier in the year with that ankle injury from the sprain. This left me scratching my head when they said it was an ankle injury because when you watch the video, you clearly see that he fell on the tailbone just like Steph Curry did. So everybody was kind of puzzled why they were calling this an ankle injury. Then yesterday they switched, said it was a pelvic contusion, which is the same thing that Steph Curry had earlier. And he was questionable, but now he is out for the game in Memphis, which is going to be a massive game for the Warriors because it has huge playoff implications. Drop me a comment right now below if you're confused about Jonathan Kuminga's injury status here, if you think the Warriors have a better shot at winning without him, or if you think that they need him right now. I've done a really interesting statistical analysis that I'm going to share with you coming up here in just a minute on why the Warriors actually are worse on paper with Jonathan Kuminga. We'll get to that in a little bit. Also, make sure you stick around because there's a really weird rumor going around about the Warriors coaching staff that I just have to dispel this rumor that's circulating around online right now. But let's take a look at Jonathan Kuminga's stats here, since a lot of people in Warriors world are saying that the Warriors are better off without Jonathan Kuminga. So let's take a look here at Jonathan Kuminga's stats since he has returned. Now, since he's come back from his injury here, he's averaging 13.1 points. The problems here are the shooting percentages, especially the three-point shooting percentage, shooting less than 20% here. And his role has really changed. Earlier in the year, before the Jimmy Butler trade, he was starting. Now he's coming off the bench, trying to integrate himself into this team now that has been on just such a hot streak here. And a lot of people are saying that Kuminga is the reason why the Warriors started having some hiccups, losing major games and blowouts against the Heat, losing against the Hawks, just some ugly basketball there. Now, I did some in-depth analysis here on what is going on. Let me bring this up here real quick. Where is this? So this is a statistical analysis that I ran comparing the games since Jimmy Butler was added to the team with and without Jonathan Kuminga on the floor here. And as you can see, the Warriors actually statistically are worse on paper with Kuminga in the lineup here. So if you look at this, the team stats, they show a clear drop-off when Kuminga is playing. The Warriors were averaging about 112.6 points per game with an offensive rating around 117 and a defensive rating around 110. In the 14 games with Butler, but without Kuminga, they had averaged about 121 points per game on a majorly better offensive rating there. They've also played slightly faster without him in terms of the possessions per game. They're getting about 99 possessions per game without him compared to 95 possessions per game with him. So he's slowing down the pace there. Also, opponents shot better against the Warriors with Kuminga active, shooting about 48% compared to 46% when he's sitting. And, you can see all the stats there in these metrics here. But the bottom line is, on paper, the Warriors are doing better without Kuminga in the lineup here, which is, just, it's not completely unexpected here. He's coming back from a major ankle injury that was limiting some of his mobility, but also he's trying to get himself integrated into this team that is just firing on all cylinders, or was before they started trying to find a way to get him minutes here. And so the Warriors have a problem on their hands here. Now, Kuminga is out. He's injured for this big matchup against the Grizzlies. I argue that despite some of the stats here, the Warriors are a better team with him as an option, just to have him as an option. Maybe they realize, they look at some of this data here and they play him less minutes. Whatever the case may be, a healthy Jonathan Kuminga as an option is going to be better than not having him as an option and having him out here. But I think that there is something really strange going on here with the Warriors. I know that there was a lot of talk and conspiracy that maybe the Warriors had been holding him out longer than he needed to because of that ankle injury, because they were trying to tank his value in the free agent market. So they had a better shot of trying to re-sign him in the offseason. Now it seems as if there's maybe something strange going on with the way that they keep reclassifying this injury, saying that it was an ankle injury when it was clearly a tailbone injury. Now they've switched it again. First he's questionable, now he's out. There's just something that tells me that something is slightly off about this. Maybe they are realizing that they're not playing as well with Kuminga in the lineup, and maybe it's better to shut him down. I don't know. You tell me your thoughts down in the comments there. Is there something strange? Is there something to this conspiracy that the Warriors are holding Jonathan Kuminga back on purpose? I don't know. You tell me. But, it is going to be really important here as the Warriors get into this next game here. Tonight, it's tipping off shortly. I'm recording this around 3:30. The tip-off is about 5 o'clock Pacific time, where I am in San Francisco here. Warriors Grizzlies tonight, huge matchup. The Warriors have the season advantage here. If you look at, what's happened over the previous 3 games that they've played, they started off the season here in November with that win over Memphis, 118-123. Then they had a blowout loss in Memphis, losing by, a 51-point blowout in Memphis. Then earlier in the beginning of 2025 here, they were able to rebound. They got the win at Chase Center. Now they are back in Memphis for a major matchup tonight with just 8 games left in the season. Memphis has that advantage now in the standings, but they have been in free fall here since they fired their coach, Taylor Jenkins. And Taylor Jenkins plays into this big rumor that has been taking over Reddit, Twitter, everything that I'm going to get to in just a minute about the Warriors coaching staff here. But when you look at Memphis, they are starting in free fall here. They've lost 3 in a row since they fired their coach, and they are losing ground here. And the Warriors just a half game back. The Warriors can get into the 5th spot for the playoff seeding if they get the win tonight. So this is going to be huge for the Warriors to get this. And if we look at the depth chart now in the Warriors' chances and what they're going to do here with Kuminga out, still a ton of options But it's starting to get a little thin on the bench here with Gary Payton, Jonathan Kuminga, both out. So we're going to have to be looking for guys like Buddy Hield to step up. He had a great game in the last game against San Antonio, started to get hot. He was playing some great defense, playing with a ton of intensity and energy there. So we're going to need to see him step up tonight. Also, other guy, Guy Santos, is going to have to continue what he does with stepping in, bringing a bunch of energy. And honestly, at this point right now in the season, I trust Guy Santos more than I trust Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench. Guy is showing us that he can come in, he can knock down shots, he can play tough defense, play with energy, look like he wants to be there. Jonathan Kuminga has been just a little bit up and down over the past several games since he has been back. But you tell me what you think. Do the Warriors have, should we be trusting Guy Santos more than JK at this point coming off the bench here? I don't know. You tell me down in the comments there. But also, we had another major update today that almost made me make a video, and I had to go and do a fact check here because this popped up on Warriors Reddit here. Let me bring this up here. News release: Warriors add veteran coach Taylor Jenkins to the sidelines. Now, Taylor Jenkins, the coach who was just fired from Memphis, it's been a huge dumpster fire over there. But this came out and took the NBA Twitter and Reddit by storm. People were going crazy, calling this a brilliant move for Kerr to bring in Jenkins, to have him on the bench there, especially right before their matchup against the Grizzlies tonight. It could have given a huge advantage. Turns out the whole thing was an April Fool's joke, and a lot of people got taken for a fool on this. And even myself, when I first saw this, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is crazy. And it took like 10 seconds to be like, there's no way that this would happen. No way. So I went and did some fact checking, and it turns out, yeah, April Fool's joke. Tell me in the comments if you got fooled by this, or if you think that this would be a good idea. Should the Warriors go out there and try to snag somebody like Taylor Jenkins and bring him onto the bench? I don't think that that's going to work. He's not going to want an assistant job. He's going to be highly in demand here in the offseason. So we shall see what happens. But this was just kind of a funny thing that reminded me what day of the year this is. April Fool's. So anyway, you tell me how you think the Warriors are going to do in the matchup tonight against the Grizzlies. Major game, major playoff implications. It's going to be huge. I can't wait to watch, and I will have the full post-game recap for you right after the game on Warriors Digest. Peace.